Resident Evil, the final chapter, or is it? I mean, tell me about
It is. It is. You know, it does what I'd always was very excited about, which is bringing Mila back to where the franchise began and kind of closing the circle. So it's her return to the Hive, her return to Raccoon City, to finish the job that she started 15 years ago.
Now, did you write all of the previous installments?
Every one of them.
I want him in the Nemesis program.
Written and directed by WS. Wow, that's pretty cool. Thankfully, though, another opening flashback because it's the star of the new Resident Evil movie, which means it's rewind time. First things first, we get to see this cool new, this new take on the Hive. It's the Japanese Hive. It's the Hive.
The Hive is so
and
much
it's
better.
way more impressive. Completely cripples like what they had going on in America. I think they never really explained. Did they explain where they were in the movie?
It's just somewhere in America.
Somewhere in America,
It's
USA.
Somewhere in America.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, even though it looked good, it crumbles immediately. It was still way more imposing than the first one we saw. Then we get to get introduced or reintroduced to the new recasted Chem and Wesley. Okay, Max Headroom. Okay, Wayne. Okay, Jared Kiso.
Who do you think's better, this guy or the other guy?
I don't think there's any discernible difference. I think it's the same person. I think you were lying to me when you elbowed me like, hey, look, that's a new actor. I think it was a joke. I think it was a bit.
They actually
make me look
recast him
stupid.
again in the next one too.
No, they don't. Alice's actual first scene is straight up just The Matrix. A decade after it was already lame to be copying The Matrix, which says a lot.
Yep.
But then again, this is WS's first chance to be in the director's chair, so for all we know, he was holding on to that sequence for the last 10 years. And was like, I get to put it in here. Sadly, though, The Matrix, looked like shit. As does the first scene with Alice and her hair in that scene. Yep. All slick and wet and tight to her head. Probably the worst look. Thankfully, they fixed it immediately, and then in the rest of the movie, her hair is normal.
My favorite part about that
She's back to sex icon status.
My favorite part about the whole thing is how there's the multiples of her, but they didn't take the time to actually make sure each one's doing its own movements.
No,
so
they look really
one
bad.
One does a movement,
Yeah.
and like the one 2 feet next to it does the same movements mirror.
Well, they are the same person, so obviously they move in synchronicity.
It's just so bad, though.
It is crazy because you're watching the movie, you're like, wow, multiple Alices. Wow, that's so cool.
It was pretty cool.
But then it's ruined because that fall down the fucking elevator shaft, that looked horrendous. She's shooting the akimbo pistols, trying to get down to the guy, and it just looks stupid. And I guess they were like, hey, we have motion blur, and they're like, yeah, let's just use that. And that was the end of it. And it looked really, really bad. The CGI in the movie overall, I would say, was god-awful.
Isn't it a little strange that now it's like heavy CGI?
Yeah, like a lot of CGI.
Yeah, that sticks around.
But then, Alice jumps down there. She shoots him, and then Homelander just suddenly gets away, just like Jorah, and then he just decides to nuke the entire fucking city, I guess, sure. I don't know about all that. What I do know about is Alice's ass and how in this movie, it looked pretty good. The real Alice, not those clone Alices. Those didn't look, they were for nothing, but the real Alice, right? The one who didn't just evaporate from the nuke that just got randomly set off to open the movie. Her ass, pretty cool.
Very cool. I'd say my favorite part of this franchise.
Yeah, well, I guess, fourth movie isn't all that bad.
No, it's actually, that's the funny thing. I was saying how bad it was before, and actually, I think I was trying to make you think it was bad,
right.
so you'd go into it thinking it's not that
Okay.
bad. It worked on me.
That was
instead.
working on me too. I thought I was really enjoying it, and then the terrible T cells were shaped like T's, and that was just way too much Sesame Street for me. And I checked out for a little while there.
Well, if they weren't shaped like T's, how'd you know they're the T cells? You think it's
true.
just any other red blood cell?
That's true. Thank God. Even without those T cells and everything else, now that Alice was cured, she has no powers. Keep in mind, she has no powers. It's gonna come in handy a lot in this movie that she has no powers. It's gonna be a big obstacle for her. I really wonder how her journey's gonna change now that she doesn't have powers. And I know when Superman loses his powers, it's a kind of a big deal. What does Clark Kent do? Right, the man behind the cape. So I'm assuming it's gonna be something big. A real big thing here. She's trying to overcome that serious obstacle being thrown in front of her nonchalantly. She gets stabbed. What's this? You don't have powers anymore. And he leaves. So I'm gotta see where that goes. It seems like a new challenge for our character. That's when we finally get into the juice, though, where the movie really begins. And I'll tell you, not many people know this. This is actually a little-known secret, one might say. The studio, inside story, turns out they spent a fifth of the entire film's budget on that scene trying to make Ali Larter look all feral and disheveled while not looking hot. Now,
I don't think it worked.
I'll tell you this. They failed, right? I know they were trying to go for the whole, like, let's have this scrappy, dirty bitch in this helicopter for tension for that, like, 7 seconds it takes to be revealed that it is, in fact, Ali Larder. So we'll have her get all dirty, you know, it'll be all, like, so crazy. But no, they just wasted millions of dollars because she looked super sexy. Surprise, surprise, you know, que sera, que sera. Turns out you throw some soot on Ali Larder and somehow she becomes even more dreamy, even more desirable, and somehow even more fuckable in a zombie apocalypse. It really shows just how good looking she is. It's, like, timeless. And for anyone who thinks that, you know, it's, what's the word, maybe insensitive for me saying, oh, that she looks fuckable, well, you're talking about a woman there, right? Well, I'd actually say you're wrong, like you're actually wrong, because those are called compliments, and me saying she's not fuckable would be a lie. And then the movie, thankfully, just, you know, after that failed venture of trying to make her look all dirty, they immediately dropped the whole Claire being covered in soot routine. She's now back to being beautifully manicured and all cleaned up, inexplicably.
I think that's why I actually liked this one so much this time, because of how amazing it turns out she actually looks.
Yeah, I did like that, because, you know, like, you know, she looked good. Her eyebrows looked phenomenal. You know, she was kind of like brunette Barbie with way better bulbs. It was, however, distracting, you know, taking away from how hot Claire was when Alice was in front of her, making her, like, 900th vlog of the day, just with her behind her, but not acknowledging that she was behind her. It was almost as silly as when she handed her the knife behind her back and just said, yeah, here you go. That was a little goofy.
I think it's goofy. She does those logs while she's flying.
Right.
And she stares directly into the camera and just stops paying attention.
I thought it was
flying.
goofy how she just decided to crash land the plane. The thing we just saw her land a minute ago that she was totally fine with. She just decided to crash land it onto the roof.
No, she's not a pilot, dude. She doesn't know how to land.
I guess not. And I was immediately confused by how Luther was able just to jump so high in the air and catch the tail of the plane sailing off the building. But then I noticed the Air Jordan logo on his chest. So I was like, okay, never mind. That actually makes sense. I shouldn't complain about this. You know, the things that the very few things W.S. Anderson actually does put forth to explain. I shouldn't you know, take a victory here and there.
Yeah, not only was it the Air Jordan logo, he had the sweatbands on, dude.
Right,
You should have done immediately.
He had sweatpants on. He had an Air Jordan logo. I should stop asking questions. But the guy just very athletic.
Bald.
Yeah, he was bald. Everyone knows the best athletes are always bald with shiny heads. Then it's just a ton of green screen. Like a ton of green screen. But hey, look. Michael Schofield's here. He's got introduced in a prison of all things. W.S., your intellect, it's second to none. And now that Wentworth Miller is here, he gets to, you know, act exactly the same as he has done in everything that he has ever done.
Dude,
except, hold on, no, except now his usual cartoonish voice and delivery is now video game voice and video game delivery.
Yeah.
And since it required no actual change in his acting style, but it was finally utilized in the proper medium, he actually kicks ass in this movie.
You think so?
I kind of was on board with him.
I don't know. I go back and forth. When he's running through the movie, it's like not the movie. When he's running through the hallway in that one scene, it looks
Right.
like he has never seen he doesn't know how to run. And then when he's grabbing the gun, every time he shoots that movie, he gets to do this.
Yeah, he
Pulls
does.
up and
He
thinks
does like the
he's,
whole
you know,
smolder.
it's ridiculous.
It's pretty badass, actually. I think
It is really
you know,
badass,
if we sat down and talked to him, he'd be like, "Yeah, I was going for like a Pierce Brosnan thing."
You're right. I'm sorry. It's
It's kind of awesome. It's very video game-esque. Alice, apparently, you know, since the last movie, she has a coin hobby. Go fuck yourself, she does. That's insane. That's absurd. You know what else is absurd? Only cold water? I don't know, maybe use one of the 67,000 torches you guys just have continuously running around to light this place. Take some of those things, heat up some water.
I don't think it works that way.
I can tell you this, Robbie. It does. You, like them, try it on schmuck territory here.
Also, dude, she's not collecting those coins for her hobby, man. Those are her bullets now. Weren't you paying attention to the movie?
Yeah. No.
Yes. Every time she shot those double shotgun barrels, man, they were coins. You didn't see that?
Yeah, no.
Okay, I'm sorry. I get what your no means.
I'm not
now.
accepting that as an option of anything, okay? Oh my god, what is this? You have bottle caps? Yeah, you know, these are actually my new brass knuckles.
Okay, you're right. I'm
Wow.
sorry. It's stupid. It's stupid.
That's so cool. Hey, what are these like, you know, what is this, like a lawn, those like green things you put in a lawn for a temporary fence? She's like, yeah, these are my spears. I collect these now, they're spears for me. It's like, okay, but you know, you probably get like an actual spear.
No, this is
No.
better. This is my hobby.
It's my hobby. I collect coins and they make them into shotgun shells. I'm just gonna cutely say, yeah, it's my thing I do. And also, where are you finding these?
That's actually a good point. She has like 9,000.
And they were all
I guess
so
she went to
clean.
a bank. She
They
went
were all
to a bank.
clean. They were all perfect. Fucking. They were perfect coins.
When she took down the Japanese hive, she went to the exchange.
But she
and,
didn't.
And she got the
That never
currency.
happened.
Yeah, that's why she has all those coins.
Because if it happened, there would have been a weird, long, drawn-out scene of her doing that.
Yeah, that'd be some more Rob Zombie.
Exactly.
People.
There's something stupid going on. But it's all fine because, Ali Larter's ass, I know I mentioned Mila Jokovich's ass earlier. From here on out, I will never do that again. Ali Larter's ass, though, and I could build a house on that, okay? That's an ass state. And I almost started crying blood from the eyes when she, it was so beautiful when she came into frame and I was looking right at it. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm just not sure how WS, a.k.a. Willie Stupid, I just don't know how he thought it made sense for Ali Larter to walk into this shower scene with pants on.
I know, what was he thinking?
What we missed out on, we all know. But more importantly, just story-wise, it's not even me being perverse. She's walking into the shower, and it's like, well, I might as well be fully clothed. Yeah, I guess that's kind of how I usually kind of tackle that obstacle myself. What else did we miss out on? Chris should have had tattoos. That's one thing. Like Michael Scofield.
I don't remember who Chris is. Oh my
Michael
God,
Scofield.
You're right. Yeah, he should.
Michael Scofield. He should have had tattoos like Michael Scofield, and he should have had the prison blueprints all over him. That's the only way they could have escaped the prison.
I know.
They ended up crawling out through some stupid tunnel anyway. Imagine he was like, "Wait, guys, hold on. There's a tunnel in the bathroom. If we break this tile right here,
It's on my map. I've mapped out.
Yeah,
the entire
how cool would that
prison.
be?
You're right. That would have been so much better.
You know what else
That'd
would have
been a
been?
lot cooler.
You know what else would have been pretty cool? If Chris, Alice, and Boobs were attacked by those zombies while swimming under the water.
Yeah, I know. It's just.
Well, that would have been way too expensive. That's the problem. So instead, here's 490 zombies climbing out of the water that was just suddenly a season ago empty.
Yep. Now it's full to
Now
the brim.
it's full to the brim, and they're all running onto the land. It's a lot cheaper to have stunt guys come out of the ocean than try to film someone underwater of a fight scene.
That's the part I was talking about with fucking Wentworth Miller when he shoots at them. She
I
closes
think
the
he
door.
was frustrated. I think he read the script and it was written as a lot more cool, badass of a scene.
Okay.
Where they were underwater and there's 10-minute Tom Cruise-esque fight scene underwater. And Miller was finally I can accomplish my dream of being like Tom Cruise in a movie. That's what my entire career's been about.
Yeah, he actually trained for 6 months.
Yeah, to go underwater to hold his breath for 9 minutes. And WS Anderson kept saying, yeah, man, don't worry, we're filming that. We'll get around to filming it. And he's like, okay, because there's been a lot of green screen. You've been cutting a lot of corners. And I really want to do this whole underwater scene you promised me. Come to the day of shooting. It's just literally, okay, guys, you're going to swim underwater. We're going to have 400 extras just charge out of the water soaking when you're going to kill them all pretty much each, except for you. You die immediately. And he was like, I'm not even giving it a half mile today.
That's why you're saying he just gave up at that point?
In that scene, yeah, he gets a pass. What's going on with Luther and Allie, you ask? They're dealing with that hammer asshole outside who's pretty much in reality just lightly tapping the gate with his hammer. But that's fine because upstairs, Tig just flies away, I guess. I guess he has the plane, sure. And then 10 million zombies suddenly show up that just flood into the room. I guess they'll all get away because they do a second later.
Because.
I was almost fearful. I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of zombies. Then I realized what movie I was watching. Okay, it's fine. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, she's just going to jump off the fucking building.
No. First, Ali Larter, she has the most tactical, genuinely tactical gun stance with that pistol.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And that was something else. That was one of those moments where you look down and it's like, I got a Woody,
Especially in that scene, too, because just before that, everyone's running around just pointing the gun all willy-nilly.
Yep. Yeah, they're all running. They're
we're
both
acting,
feet
everyone.
moving with each shot, blinking their eyes.
Yeah, what the hell's that movie where the guy's just shooting like this with his arm in the air? I feel like we just watched it. We gotta cut that out.
Sure. Then Alice jumps off of a fucking building because, duh, she does. And I'm not sure if I was, again, more confused by the way the rope just did a little dance along the building so she could move horizontally across the whole entire building. That's not how ropes work. That was a little confusing, but then I was also, at the same time, even so more confused how for the first time in 4 movies when a bomb goes off, not everything in the area is entirely just ripped out of it. I mean, her anchor point should have been gone. How many times have we seen in this franchise something's being held on by 2 screws and it just inexplicably gives? She blows up the roof where she's attached to. Her anchor point's now gone, but somehow she's just still hanging on.
Even though she might have lost her power, she makes up for it in luck. So everything just kind of, you know what I mean?
I guess. Because she has no powers, but again, I guess she's
got luck.
She got God on her side, actually. Even dumber, though, than all of that is how that dumb, stupid, big monster with the hammer just teleports in silently to kill no-name character who, for plot reasons, of course, had to suddenly object to the plan they were talking about crawling into this hole. He's like, wait a minute, hold on. And they looked at him like, what? And he's like, hold on. And they said, what? And he's like, just wait another second or two. And they said, for what? And he's like, hold on. And then suddenly, that's when the hammer guy was just behind them in a small building that they had. I thought they locked down. They walked around and they had it locked down.
What was he so afraid of going down the hole? Isn't that what his forefathers did during World War II? Should he used it?
That's true, isn't it? Shouldn't be ingrained. You're right. You're like, it's just, sir, think of it as a foxhole.
He should be like, finally, I've been waiting
Yeah.
to do this all my life.
Finally. Also, what's going on with Chris and Luther? I don't know. I guess they didn't hear anything from that 1 foot drop into that hole they went into, because they did turn their backs to the noise. So I guess they can't hear it. That person who just suddenly broke in and broke all the pipes, and they're like, "Oh, where's everyone?" And it's fine though, because Allie looks as wet as she does sexy, and as sexy as she does wet.
Yeah, really, it's a good scene.
I guess she also has powers though, because she just runs up a wall just like Alice. And Alice also, again, she has no powers. Keep that in mind. Let's see how she handles this guy. And he's dead. Okay.
Allie doesn't have powers.
He's
I don't know
dead.
Why you think that.
No, Allie will, because Allie, you're right. It's confusing though, because Allie did literally all the work, did 95% of the work. Then Alice comes in there, does the last 5%, and it happens to be the magical shot. I guess they're right. She had luck on her side.
Yeah, keep telling you.
Christian Luther, yeah, again, I don't know. I guess they're in that tunnel doing something, because they still haven't come back to figure out what's going on, and now we're all on a boat. So I guess they just never they're like, well, you guys kind of took a while. I'm like, yeah, we fought a zombie. You fought a zombie?
You were just hanging out.
Wow, we had no idea. We were 5 feet away from you, but we didn't even realize.
Tunnel only works one way, dude.
It's fine. They're on the boat now, and Allie Lauder's got some killer arms.
That looks fantastic.
Just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, dude. All right? Absolutely fantastic. And then in the intersector room, Allie Lauder's ass. I said I'd mention it again. Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ, roll my weed on that ass. That's an ass tray.
My ass quake.
Nah, I specifically am not using the ass quake part. And also, even if I was, first off, let's go say what I was dumb with this part. Let's say what I was dumb for 3 reasons. 1, you just jumped to the ass quake part without the setup for it. 2, there was a realistic chance that I was probably gonna get to that one eventually on my own, since I did the first 2. And then you thought, oh, I'll just do it myself. And then 3, I actually wasn't planning on doing that one, because her ass really isn't an ass quake ass. It's more the other things. It's not like it's some giant fat fucking ass where she started shaking. There's no really natural segue into that one. So congratulations, you're stupid in 3 ways. Back to, hey, look, Kmart's back. And hey, look, Max Headroom's back. And hey, look, Tig's back. And hey, look, the Hellhounds are back. Now, of course, they're splitting in half, because, sure, but in my opinion, that's leaving them more vulnerable. They're sure maybe more menacing, but it can't make them like any better at anything they're doing.
It makes them see their surroundings better.
It's what, they get to see the floor of where the view behind them?
Yep.
That seems helpful. And then, hey, look, there's the worst sunglasses toss I've ever seen in a movie. WS, go watch Mission Impossible 2, please.
Well, since you brought this up, actually, did you notice anything particularly special about this movie?
I noticed you not acknowledging how terrible that sunglass toss was.
Yeah. It was not as good as Mission Impossible when he throws it and the explodes.
What was I supposed to notice?
None of them can be as good as that sunglass toss. But also, this was filmed in 3D. Did you notice how all those shots were trying to cater to the 3D spectacular?
I did notice a few shots that looked like they were very much going for the 3D, but I didn't actually I guess I didn't connect the dots enough. It wasn't 3D enough where I felt like I was missing anything.
Well, that sunglasses shot was a 3D shot.
What do you think's more cartoonish? Claire and Chris getting trapped and tossed into those chambers, or Alice clearly standing in the background doing absolutely nothing, watching it all go down? Or, third option, is it Max Headroom dodging bullets, but not quite being quick enough to dodge the punches and kicks being thrown his way?
That's a really good
That was
point.
confusing. He took a lot of blows to the face from these people who, again, don't have powers, because, again, no one in this room has powers but him, so obviously he has to win, because Alice doesn't have powers.
I think he has a pain kink, and he just likes getting hit.
Okay. So he's a little, it's like a slap to him, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it actually makes a lot of sense. If you understand the lore, it makes sense.
I think Alice has a pain kink, too, because Tig, who's been trying to shoot a shot the whole entire movie, just runs over her and stabs her. And it wasn't to kill her off. It does nothing, no damage at all. The powerless woman, no damage whatsoever to the stabbing through the forearm. He essentially just helps her, because he gives her a weapon.
Yeah, it made her stronger, actually.
Yeah, it made her way stronger. He just gives her a weapon, and then Claire and Chris go Big Pussy and Tony on him, and just they unload a clip into Max Headroom. Then Allie Larder just talks to these random-ass people, this awkward, hey, how are you? Are you safe? Good. You're safe now. Go that way. You're fine. Continue. Go. You're safe.
Okay, thanks, hot lady.
Yeah, terrible. That was a weird pickup shot. Like, the movie can't possibly be an hour and 35 minutes. We need it to be an hour and 36 minutes, guys.
Quick, Allie, say something.
And I guess, yeah, Luther is alive, I guess, because star power, bitches.
Yeah, it's going to be important because he comes back again.
Yeah,
We haven't seen the last of him.
Thank God. He seems like he had a lot more to tell. Then Alice, Claire, Chris, and Kmart, they stand there united as one, all for one for all. They stand there after this shared journey together. The thing that they all went on, the four of them together as one where they they grew together. And yeah, sure, Kmart didn't actually say anything in that last scene. She also didn't do anything either for the entire movie. So, you know what, actually, maybe on second thought, maybe she shouldn't have been in the hero shot at the end since she wasn't a part of this movie whatsoever. Maybe that actually is a good point, Robbie. You're right.
She'll be in the next one. That's why she's in the
She will be?
hero shot.
Okay. So we had to establish, again, we had to make sure people knew who she was because they would have forgotten who Kmart was.
Yep.
Then Alice lies, says it's 5 seconds. I'm sorry. Then Alice just lies blatantly, says it's safe, and 5 seconds later, the entire Umbrella Attack Chopper Division shows up. Not sure what happened, but who's leading the charge? Post-credit scenes, baby. W.S. Anderson brought one thing to this movie. Jill Valentine is back.
Yep.
Sure, she wasn't in the third one inexplicably. She wasn't in the third one, but she's back in the fourth one. And say, oh my God, guys, the times have changed, right? Here she is. She's blonde now.
Dude,
She's got a dumb, stupid fucking spider on her chest. Yeah, but ignore that. That's not important. Look behind that. Look what else we have going on in this world building, all right? She's blonde. She's wearing purple. That's always a plus. She's got that ass. She's got the tits. What did she say in the post-credits scene? I'll tell you this. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I think she seemed like she was bad now, though.
might-
Past that, I don't know.
She might be bad now. What if I told you that Kmart's in the next one, but Jill Valentine's not in the next one?
That'd be really infuriating. What if I told you I think the fourth one might be my favorite movie of the bunch?
Are you serious?
So far.
That's nuts, because I told you I went in hating it. I think it's because I said how bad it was. You went into it expecting so much worse. But I actually loved it this go around. I never liked this movie.
I think the fourth one, again, I don't know if anyone spoke, but I think what we made a little bit better was it went a little bit back to its roots of the first movie in this one, where it was like, what if we're not in, a desert with no iconography, any recognizable things, where it's all bland, you can't tell who's going where for what from why, about anything. This one was like, okay, you know what? Here's a building, and there's a building over there, and we're trying to get over there. And for most of it, we're in here. I was like, okay, cool. I know where they are. I know they're trying to get somewhere. I was able my civilian brain can follow what was going on.
What'd you think of the crew in this movie?
The crew kicked ass.
Really? I think this crew is probably quite possibly the worst crew.
Ali Larder.
She's not part of the crew. She's like whatever. She's upper echelon crew. That doesn't count.
Wentworth Miller.
Wentworth Miller's whatever.
Who else was even in the movie besides the two of them? Tig sucked. You're right.
Tig's
Luther
terrible.
sucked. Tig sucked.
Dude, I told you, when this movie came out, they marketed it like Tig was the big bad in this movie. He's in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, he
of
did
this
nothing.
movie.
Kim, fucking idiot. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the group. I think this movie again though, it had some. No, I don't even know. This movie, maybe I don't even like the best. Maybe I just watched 4 from another star in a meld. But again, I can't think of actually not even mentioned. I can't think of anyone talking in this movie much. I can't think of any like actual back and forth or shared anything. And it was kind of cool. I don't know. You don't know. My favorite crew is still the crew from the third movie.
I said the first movie was your favorite crew with
No,
Kaplan.
I think the third movie is what we finished on.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I think that my third's still favorite. This is now like after the first movie. So it's definitely still above the second movie. But but Wentworth Miller kicks ass, dude.
I don't know. I don't think that was as cool as you did.
Chris, what's his name? Chris Kyle. No, what's his name?
Redfield.
Chris Redfield.
I think so.
That's a stupid name.
Well, her name's Claire Redfield, so
That was Clear Rivers.
yeah. What did I want to say? I don't know. I had a point. I completely forgot. Something about how they all converge together and you're enjoying the ride or something, but I can't remember, so don't worry about it.
I guess we'll see what's on with the fifth one. So far, though, 4 is not that bad. Hopefully, W.S. Anderson, they finally have a director who can hold the franchise. We'll see if he can just, finally have one vision continuous. That's probably the problem. New director each movie, they keep restarting the franchise. That's why it's so, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. This guy has his own vision. He can finally come to fruition. So hopefully 5 just, blows me away where it's like I'm watching the fucking Godfather.
I want him in the Nemesis program.
Never mind though. They get right back into the minutia of the story with the whole my name is Alice. I worked at the Umbrella Corporation. It's recap season, and this recap is actually the recap of all recaps. Because this recap goes on for about 15 minutes, where it doesn't just recap what happened in the last movie. It makes sure to recap everything that happened in totality for the entire franchise up to this point.
Well, you don't know it yet, but this one did a lot of foreshadowing for the next one, so that's why.
No, what
they
this
do
one
all
did was
that.
a lot of saving the studio millions. I want to keep this in mind. It opened up playing a scene in reverse that
Best
we
scene of the
now
whole
are
franchise.
seeing play forwards, which means the first half hour of this movie is one new scene played twice
Yeah.
and a recap of the 4 previous movies.
But the scene, first off, the scene's played once in reverse.
Right.
And it's played like in 2 times.
Really,
speed the
really
second time.
fast the second time, yeah.
So it's
and
actually
again,
two
and then the stuff in the
scenes.
middle of that 45-minute section of this movie
All
is
good stuff.
recap.
All good new stuff.
But hey, we got to see her shoot that shotgun coin.
We get this, yeah. So.
Now it's not that dumb of a hobby, is it?
No, yeah. See, it took down that chopper, didn't it? And also,
did.
it almost never really killed her.
That also almost happened. That happens a lot in these movies. Cut to, Alice is married to Carlos,
Yeah, Carlos is back, baby.
and they live in the burbs with a deaf daughter, and now Alice has like a stereotypical suburban soccer mom haircut to the max.
Yeah, she looks good.
I don't know.
I do know. I talked to some people. We all agreed.
I don't know. You know, I kind of got lost because this is a zombie movie, and like I knew Carlos had to get bit, and I started thinking right when it happened, like this suburban zombie thing kind of feels a little bit like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, and then he got bit, and then they ran around the house, and it felt so much like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, and then they left the house, and like I'm like, is this the same fucking set? It's the same I think they used some of the same B-roll because something like the cars crashing and everything. That was all legitimately. I've seen Dawn of the Dead. But yeah, you know, they can have Michelle Rodriguez come back and crash the car like Letty in Fast and the Furious, but it's ridiculous for me to suggest in the last movie that maybe Wentworth Miller should have had tattoos like Michael Scofield all over him to get out of the prison. It's cool when they pay homage to Fast and Furious, but it's really lame when they pay homage to Prison Break. This movie likes Fast and Furious so much, they literally predict the Fast and Furious going on the ice.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It's the same location and everything.
Michelle Rodriguez was like, guys, Vin, I have a great idea. And he's like, oh, yeah. And she says, watch, actually, he'd be like, what is it? What is it, sweetness? And she's like, check out this movie. He's like, is it about monsters? I love monsters. This is amazing. You're in how many of these?
Not as many as she should.
Not as
be.
many as she should be.
Like, I would have had her probably come back by the time the third one rolled around.
Yeah, or just had her survive the first movie too. She got bit 80 times before she died. She might as well just
And
survive
hey, she did
it.
get the virus, the antivirus, didn't she? I
Yeah.
don't remember. I think so. So she should
Think
have been
so.
fine. She should have been fine.
Didn't you know it's too late for me? She had a badass line. She's spoken into existence. But Vin Diesel was like, no, again, I keep wanting to move Vin Diesel, but we have to know it's private. It's shoulders down, not shoulders up high. It's shoulders. When he gets home, he's just like, oh, and he slides out of his dress. Vin Diesel is just like, carve on the snow. I never even would have thought of that.
We're gonna call it Fate of the Furious.
Fate of the Furious. She's like,
Oh,
she's like, which one is that? Can't you tell, Michelle? It's the 8th one.
Speaking of titles, it really annoys me. This one's called Retribution.
Yeah.
It's like not that
Who retributed for what?
Exactly.
Exactly.
But it's like, they're following a pattern in all these movies with their titles. It's like not that a lot of thought was put into it clearly, but like Retribution doesn't follow that pattern.
What pattern?
Dude, it's Resident Evil.
Right.
Then it's Afterlife.
Sure.
No, I'm sorry. Then it's Apocalypse.
Right. You're so far. Okay.
They both start with A's, okay? If it's Apocalypse, what's Apocalypse mean? It's the end of the world, right?
Right.
Then the next one's Extinction. What happens after an Apocalypse? There's an Extinction.
Yeah.
Then what comes after the Extinction is the Afterlife. What's next? It's the Afterlife. That all makes sense. And it's Retribution. Should have been Reckoning or something else.
You know what? I know it just I don't think WS was willing to share the writer's credit for this one, which is why he didn't accept any of those ideas from you when you were pitching them to him. When he was all like the whole like, we should call it Reckoning instead of Retribution. That would have changed the entire. Hey, we probably would have made another $100 million.
Yeah. And then he would listen to me on not calling the next one. You know what the next one's called?
Afterlife.
No, the final chapter, which I hate when movies do that.
Right, because it's like you're gonna make another one eventually.
That's besides the
It's also a lame thing. It's like
Yeah,
it's the
super
equivalent of
lame.
adding the movie to your title.
Exactly. I should call it Resident Evil, the movie, the last one.
Similar to how's it go? The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, Book 2, the chapter of Carol.
Page 4.
Playtier. Because for some reason, Carol, they're like, what if she has the most exotic high society? What if her name's Playtier?
That's her last name?
Yeah.
Dude, I had no idea what you just said. I thought
It's
like, I don't know you
ridiculous.
speak French. Carol
Anyway,
Patier.
I don't even know. I don't know. I think I said it right the first time. I'm pretty sure I said it wrong the second time. I'll ever say it right another time.
That's actually Alice's last name, too.
And that's actually the test we're going to throw out for our for the Walking Dead listeners. Like, are you actually listening to all the videos, or just like that one video we did about it? No, I'm here. I'm still here. Resident Evil's close enough.
Right? All right. It is close enough.
Anyway, now it's time for the movie to start for the 4th time. Where now Alice is waking up on an umbrella. And now it's the next part of the movie, right after it cut, you know, boom, 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 bing, 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 right? Now it's Alice screaming part of the movie, which is sadly followed by the Alice getting dressed portion of the film. Even weaker than the Alice screaming section, where it was, and the best part of her screams, it was kind of like the whole Tom Jane approach in The Mist, where it was like on, off, on, 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 off, with weird in between things. It's the thing I mentioned a while ago, talking about how like, gosh, you know, this Mila Jovovich, I know she's human, but like she doesn't act it. And then it's the longest, most monotonous fight I think ever put to the screen. In the most sleek white CGI corridor. In the sleek white CGI corridor, where Alice just fights like every zombie, I guess, in the silliest ways possible. I don't know. I'm not sure if at this point any dialogue has been spoken.
Silliest ways?
Yes.
I think the most effective
Dude,
ways.
it was absurd. She fucking she runs up and does like a backflip kick, and with no force, like, okay, fine, the zombie goes flying back. But on the full rotation of the backflip, not only did she kick the one in the face, who she was facing, she managed to also perfectly kick the one behind her. She probably didn't know it was there, and kick that one in the head and knock it down. And then she's like standing above one zombie, and she puts two between her ankles, and she just does a little, let me shuffle to the left an inch, and it snaps this zombie's neck.
Little Michael Jackson move.
It's ridiculous. It's abhorrent, actually. It's offensive, okay? So, no, that part was goofy as fuck. And all I got out of the whole entire first 45 minutes of this movie was, wow, Jill Valentine looks pretty fucking incredible in that outfit.
Right?
I was all over the whole, like, knockoff Tomb Raider look in the second movie.
I preferred that one. But
I thought I might have at times. And then I looked at this one, I was like, you know what? No, this one's definitely better. Also, Max Headroom and Ada Wong right here. We're apparently underwater. Learned that. That was something new I wasn't at all anticipating.
Yeah, because these movies just keep getting better and better, and they have twists and turns.
And there's also something I didn't see coming, a team of mercenaries being deployed to rescue... When has that happened before in these movies?
It's the first time, I think.
I think it's happened in every one of them. But the mercenaries have Kevin Durand and Leon, and I know Leon, right? I've played Resident Evil 4, but for some reason... It's like Kevin Durand and like, oh my God, Leon's here, as well as Luther West. He's also here, alive somehow, but more importantly, even stranger somehow in the task force.
I know. They need a basketball
Sorry,
player.
weren't you a basketball player? Hey guys, we should need a really good glue guy.
Our team needs a good center.
Yeah, man, we're looking for someone who can just really, you know, pull us all together. It's like, yeah, but I don't know, man. I kind of, it's not really the same shooting thing. It's a little different.
Yeah.
We heard you shot. We actually heard your fucking 50, 40, 90. It's a pretty elite club right there. Leon, thankfully, to make up for Luther, is dressed just like the character, which does marginally make up for the fact that he looks absolutely nothing like the character. Also doesn't sound like him, and get this, to complete the trifecta, doesn't act like him.
It's really disappointing to see that. You wait 5 movies, which is roughly 10-ish years at this point, and that's the Leon.
That's
you
the
get to see
everyone's
on
in the
screen.
everyone went to the theater was like, oh my God, maybe Leon will be in it. Maybe Leon will be in it. Maybe Leon will be in it. Oh my fucking God, Leon was in it.
They saw the hair from the back and the jacket.
The jacket was, honestly, I want the jacket.
So do I. The jacket's awesome.
Guess what? The Red Queen is back.
Yep, your favorite.
Back to our bases with the franchise, you know, trapped in an Umbrella Corp facility, trying to escape. This time, though, they run into 2 guys with hammers, you know, which is somehow seems like less of an inconvenience than it was with just one guy who had the hammer.
Well, now they keep banging into each other.
Yeah, they can't coordinate properly. It doesn't
Well,
really
they have
matter.
those masks on.
You know, they break a couple buses. They don't really make any damage to our lead characters, and then they explode. Kind of seems like it was almost a waste of time to even introduce them again.
Yeah, I kind of remember the last one being more of the we're meandering around nothing thing. This one has a lot of meandering.
This one has a lot of it,
But
yeah.
then the last half, it was like all that stuff we shared in the first half is now in this half.
Well, you know, gotta keep the body guessing. You keep thinking the movie's gonna go one way, it goes another way. But then it gets really interesting because once we get to the elite Luther-led task force, keep in mind when he shoots the gun, he blinks and shakes his entire body.
That's how you get the most pinpoint accuracy.
Just thought I
You know
should throw that in
anything?
there. I wish I knew more. Just talk to Luther. I did think, I'll admit, I just thought that the random Soviet Union iconography was just on that elevator. I really didn't see it coming for a second that I was in for Soviet zombies.
You should have known that, dude.
I should have known that. That kicks ass. That's awesome. Sadly, though, we don't need to see that right now, apparently, because the second we actually once I got confirmation, oh my god, are those Soviet Union zombies? They immediately cut away from the interesting part of the movie and said, no, we need to see Alice go back in the suburbs again. Yeah, I guess she's got to find that deaf kid somehow. And I don't know if the whole making a version of Alice where she could excel as a suburban housewife was necessary, but like sure. But they're back at the house and she's going upstairs, and no, sadly, she doesn't burn after reading the kid in the closet.
That would have been so fucking
I was crossing my fingers, thinking she's gonna go shoot through the closet. I'm sorry, the kid's dead. And also the best part was this Alice would be like, I guess, yeah, it sucks I killed the kid, but I don't know who that kid is. But from the kid's perspective, the deaf kid who can't even hear it, right? She's gonna see Mommy, and then bang. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Unfortunately, though, they got me. The deaf girl wasn't in the closet. Somehow a zombie was in there. Very sneaky guy.
Doesn't make any sense.
Where was she? Apparently somewhere else, because she showed up from the way the woman came in the first place.
Yeah.
Back to the Soviets. Yes, Kevin Durant, RPG down. I fucking love it. You know? No, not more Luther shooting, stomping both of his feet. And goddamn is Michelle back. You know, I knew we'd see more of her than just the car crash, but I didn't know she'd actually be joining in on the battle between Jill and Alice on who can rock the tightest leather outfit here.
Yeah, it's a tight competition.
It's a tight competition, and it's a close one. It's a real back. It's a neck to neck to neck. Or in this case, more like ass to ass to ass.
Yeah.
It's ass-tastic. And I guess Carlos is also back again, and I guess that captain from the first movie who lost to a laser field.
Yeah, I remember him being in this like a lot. He's in
two scenes, and he dies in the second
I don't
scene.
think he said anything.
Well,
Other than, I'm also here.
He didn't say anything because, again, it proves my point. No one in these movies talks at any point.
Yeah, I remember there being dialogue.
They're always completely silent.
It's just a lot of music videos with fucking zombies.
This movie, though, it's the fifth movie, and I'll say that like the cinematography feels better. Like some of the production value feels a lot better, like some of the sets and everything. But then you get to the CGI, and it's just like the absolute worst CGI of the franchise, and it's always random too. Like randomly in the most shocking way, the movie just suddenly throws the worst effects you've ever seen in your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, some unimportant member of the Luther task force got chainsawed, and it looked awful. The blood, it looked like literally one of those like movies like where it's like, watch Birdemic. These things that this like got me on a $22,000 budget. Did this movie cost like $100 million?
How did we not say when we watched the third one how that looked like Birdemic when they were getting attacked with the birds with it? We were talking about the guy shaking the fucking cans the whole time.
We were too mesmerized by how
the
high Larder looked.
Oh, Larder, yeah.
I guess all the money on the CG went to the big bad liquor zombie though, because that did look a little bit better. It got an upgrade.
That looked a lot better.
It did. It looked bad in the first two times we saw it. This one looked pretty okay.
Looked pretty okay.
No. Keep in mind, car chases contractually, right? Michelle Rodriguez wasn't allowed to partake in that car chase scene.
Yeah.
That's why she stood behind with Deffy in her like hot green top. But there are zombies and there are cars, and the zombies are Soviet zombies, and they are in fact on motorcycles and cars chasing after with fucking guns shooting.
And flamethrowers.
That's happening. And also, no, I lied a minute ago when I said that the worst CGI I saw was the chainsaw thing. No. The worst CGI I ever did see was when the car went down into the subway and it was sliding on like, the tops of the stairs on the railings. That was quite possibly one of the worst things I've ever seen ever.
Yeah, but at least everybody in the car sold it so well. So like you're at least like, oh, they
You're
really
right.
went through.
That's what made it not the worst thing I've ever seen. But the worst thing I've ever actually seen was 5 seconds later when I actually saw the worst CGI of my entire life.
Yep.
Where that girl was getting kidnapped by the liquor zombie that looked okay 2 scenes ago. When they said, "Oh gosh, how do we like realistic?" I know we wrote down. I know WS wrote it in the script, but like, how do we actually bring his beautiful vision to reality? How does his tongue pick up this girl and just yank her away? I don't know. It could be like 6 frames. Maybe she just gets turned horizontal in the second frame, and then the 4th frame she's off the screen.
in the dark.
Yeah, make it dark. You know, we'll really hope that the Michelle Rodriguez scream sells it emotionally when no one realizes how choppy it looks and how bad. Doesn't matter, though, because, you know, the zombie also managed to fucking whack Kevin Durant and give him a slow death, as well as whack Michelle Rodriguez and kill her.
She snapped her neck immediately.
It's like, wow. You know what's rough? Me trying to have to watch a movie where Michelle Rodriguez isn't borderline invincible and, like, the toughest, coolest chick in the movie. Really fucking stupid watching one where she just gets hit gently and her neck snaps and she's dead. And she died in a car crash, too. All stupid.
That's why she took this role as a challenge for her, because she's always the badass. She wanted to play the girl that's not the badass.
I'll tell you this. That's not true because later on she does play the badass, but the whole,
Oh yeah, she does.
tricking me thing, it's really stupid. It's not believable. All right. Honestly, at every single point, Michelle Rodriguez should be winning every fight at all times.
Yeah.
That's not true. She can die. There's only two options. She can die or win the fight.
Well, no, actually, in fucking Fast 6, I think, when Carla, what's not
Not
Ronda
Carla
Rousey.
Gugino, the other one.
Yeah.
Gina Carano.
Yes, her, dude, she would kick Michelle Rodriguez's ass in a second. She holds
Yeah,
her own in that
no.
movie.
I still have my Michelle Rodriguez, dude.
No, not in that fucking
The
fight.
half it's Michelle Rodriguez. She either dies or she wins. There's nothing in between.
Okay, fine. What about in Fast 7 when Ronda Rousey beats the shit out of
Dude,
her? And she's
Roddy, Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Bro, come on. Michelle Rodriguez.
Dude, you're fucking insane.
You don't see how Michelle Rodriguez handled herself in that Punk situation, bro?
Yeah, you're right, dude.
Dude, she's
That
going
was-
crazy, dude.
You're right.
She's not backing down.
She might actually kill everybody.
As far as the actual movie we're talking about, Leon has no chemistry with anyone. Alice especially has none with him. And the back and forth of, you can't go, I must. Don't, I have to. It's a mistake. I don't care. I'm going. No one else is. I'll go. You shouldn't. We're going. Don't. I have to. You're going to risk for this kid? What else would I do? You should leave. I can't do that. Like, it was the worst exchange imaginable. And it's like, again, guys, you wait, like you just pointed out, 10 years to meet Leon, and this is what Leon is?
Yeah, I don't get it. I
The
think
putz.
he's fucking atrocious. And also, I like Kevin Durand.
Yeah, Kevin Durand with a D at the end of it. It's tough, yeah.
He's great, but also, I guess he's not saying any of his lines in
Yeah,
this movie.
dude, he is great, but sadly, he stays behind, and he did absolutely nothing in the movie. Just senseless shots, shoot. Okay, you've done enough, Kevin, thank you. Stay behind so bland void of humanity, Leon, can, get away.
Well, they finally brought Leon to movies that can't kill him off. Plus, he's vital to the next one.
Yeah, well, because he's so vital because finally they brought someone who is such a lack of, just an empty black hole where they're like, wow, you know what? Mila Jovovich does have an expressive face. She does convey a lot of emotion. She's very pensive. Kevin Durant, though, does get to pull out a cigar, and he gets to shoot Laser Boy off before succumbing to the Willem Dafoe platoon death. And yeah, he straight up kills the guy who lost the lasers. That guy came back just to die again. And I know he doesn't think, I haven't seen him in anything else, so I guess it's like he was turning down movie offers. But tell them to go fuck themselves. Have a little respect for yourself. What did you pay? I made $22,000 off that.
What's more obnoxious, that or the fact that Kmart's in the last one says nothing, and then she's not in this one?
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, how is Kmart? Yeah, it's peculiar.
Why was she in the last one? Where is Wentworth Miller when you want him? He would have been a lot cooler than Luther in this task force.
He's breaking out another prison.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah, he had to go to a third prison to go to. Yeah, he had to get more tattoos. Not just 5 to 10 Alices, thousands of Alices. Goddamn factory full of them. And oh my God, it's not even thousands of Alices. It's thousands of Alices, thousands of Rain, Jill, Claire, Carlos, Chris, Luther, Leon, everyone.
Well, not Luther. He has nothing to do with
The people are Soylent Green. That's the shock W.S. Anderson was going for here. He's like, guys, even though, sure, have we shown Michelle Rodriguez die a lot and she just keeps on coming back? Yeah.
Why do you
have
think
we
that
already
is?
have we already introduced that there's 1,000 billion Alices? Well, guess what, guys? They're all clones.
You don't seem the least bit like, whoa.
No.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter either because, Alice does what she does best. And within 5 seconds of learning this information, she's just, I should probably blow this place to smithereens.
Isn't that great? Every time
I might as well explode this. It's like whenever there's any new information or something. Hey, Alice, we found a safe. I should probably blow it up.
Haven't you played the games? Every game ends with them destroying the place they were in.
Well, then W.S. Anderson really is a fan of the games, I guess. He wasn't lying. Newsflash. Yet again, I entirely forgot that we were underwater this whole time.
Yeah, so did I, actually.
And I forgot that was like the risk of the whole mission. And the flood looked like shit as well. And right when you think, they're safe on the snow, driving safely away from the movie, right? It feels like the movie's about to end. They're playing some upbeat music almost, right? Of course, I let my guard down. I didn't anticipate a random submarine perfectly breaking through the ice right to where they were. That takes some coordination. It chokes up right next to them with the queen herself, Jill Valentine, right?
Does that also happen in Fate of the Furious?
I believe so, yeah. I think Dwayne The Rock Johnson does it.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for differently, she's here, cleavage and all, in the Arctic cold, And I was about to say, she must be cold, and then fucking Ada Wong walks out in her dress, and it's like, I guess Jill's actually very well covered for the climate, comparatively.
Yeah, actually, she's appropriate.
Michelle, though, she gets shot, and for some reason, someone, I hope to God it wasn't WS, I hope someone else just, was too many cooks in the kitchen, because whoever the hell came up with having, what if the bullets go into her arm, and then go down her arm and come out of her fingertips?
Yeah, I don't like
Deserves to have their... Deserves to...
Have their fingertips cut off.
No, I was gonna say have their fucking like neck snap with that little Michael Jackson move Mila Jovovich did.
That sounds pleasurable.
Whoa. They deserve something bad, all right? That's all I'll say. Then Jill and Alice have the coolest bodysuit fight scene of all time. One of the best blonde versus brunette fights man has ever seen.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, a lot of dumb shit happens during the actual fight itself, from like kicks to flips to kicks to flips. And
There was no dumb shit happening in this fight.
okay, how about this part where it pans over to the left, and Michelle Rodriguez, she stops Luther's punch with her forehead, and it works. It hurts his hand. He's like, ah.
That's because Luther's a pussy.
He is a pussy. It's also true because a minute later, she also just totally eats a fire extinguisher to the face.
Yep.
Doesn't do anything. And then she just puts an end to this whole Luther experiment, this whole Luther nonsense. She just punches him right in the heart and stops his heart from beating.
That was his best
Mortal
acting,
Kombat
though.
style.
I think she actually killed him. That was his best acting.
Yeah, he did just really go. The lights went out.
Yeah, really.
It was some real Kevin Spacey shit.
Back to before we said about Michelle Rodriguez, she would absolutely beat the shit out of both.
Yeah, no
those
serum.
guys. Yeah,
No serum
exactly.
required. I don't know what the whole point is. Again, my point earlier, you can put Michelle Rodriguez against anyone. I'm like, yeah, she probably got this. She got this. She's good. I got my money on Michelle. And she'd be like, yo, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's really good of you, dude. It's real nice stuff you're doing. You always throwing me in the corner. You always say, hey, I got your back, dude. And like, she's like, wow, doesn't sound too much like me. Well, and then she has the exact same punch to Alice, and it didn't kill her actually. And Jill's also awake; she's not dead. So only Luther died here. But the fight between them, who is the fight between who is the sexiest woman in the snow under dress is still on, and Michelle looks particularly good, beaming with that smile out there, those pearly whites on the snow. Too bad 6 bullets took out the ice that I guess was very thin.
That particular spot, yeah.
Yeah, that particular spot she got led to was very, very, very thin. And even though they're in the Arctic, where it's like they were just driving over like 10,000-pound tanks and everything on this ice, it's actually very shallow and it's weak. It's flimsy. More of a slushy, actually. Think of like when you go to your 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she falls, and I don't know. Fucking Michelle gets pulled down by zombies, I guess, sure. And I feel like I feel like she should still be fine. Like I was kind of saying. And she kind of does from it. She pops back out. She's like, I want to get you. And then Mila Jovovich is like, fucking no, you're not. And she slides back in, and I guess she's gone again for a bit.
She's like, okay, I guess I'm not.
You know, I don't know how Ada Wong doesn't have hypothermia since she should clearly be dead. She was knocked unconscious in a small red dress laying in the snow with half her body directly touching it. In the fucking Arctic. Aren't they in Russia, I guess?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
they're in
around
Russia.
so.
They're in
It's
a
different-
cold
it's-
place.
It's not as cold as you'd think.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, how does she be cold? And she wasn't.
But then again, Leon, even though he should also be dead since his neck was clearly snapping at that submarine, he comes over and puts his jacket on her, so I guess she's okay. And where do we go from there? We go to the White House, okay? Because finally Wesker is back and not being limited by the restraints of a TV monitor in the universe. Now he can actually walk around, show off his great pecs in that tight sweater, show he's got a rockin' fucking bod.
Yeah, what's this one? The traps?
Dude, Traps
Guys,
out of
Traps
the
are
dude.
insane.
Traps phenomenal.
Huge
Pecs
fucking
phenomenal.
shoulders.
All 3 heads on display, bro. Wearing a sweater, dude.
And-
Tight stomach.
yeah, and
Great
we-
hips, bro.
we were talk-
Strong hips.
We were talking about the tight outfit contest. I think he wins.
Dude, he wins the
actually.
outfit contest. Again, that's for everyone who's thinking like, wow, they were really saying some, what's the word? Lecherous things. Some lecherous things. Like, yeah, now I am. Okay, did you guys see Wesker?
His body's he's beautiful, beautiful body.
And honestly, too, I couldn't tell entirely, unfortunately. But I feel like the guy has probably got pretty strong legs, too.
Looked like it, dude. Huge.
Because nothing's
thighs.
worse. No, nothing can you appreciate less than a guy who's got a great upper half and a bad lower half.
No, this guy definitely does not have chicken legs.
No shot. And he can't because it's a new team's been assembled. The ultimate team, the dream team, right? Luther's finally gone. So it's Alice, Jill, Ada, Leon, and Wesker. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I actually really like Wesker. It wasn't a bit.
Yeah, Wesker's awesome.
I think he might be genuinely the best part of the franchise.
Dude, I'm nuts that you actually. I'm nuts. I think it's nuts that you actually think that, because I didn't think if there's one thing I thought there'd be no chance of you ever getting on board with was him, because of how over the top.
Dude,
he is.
Wesker's
He's
killing
great.
it at every single turn, and it's like the scene. It's like Balthazar Getty in Twin Peaks. Certain actors just know what's going on. The guy who plays Wesker, not only is he in phenomenal shape, not only does he have his body together, he's got his mind together. Because he knows what's going on. He knows exactly he knows what he has to do in this movie. He's fucking killing it. Okay, the fact that he hasn't gotten, the fact that we're getting Luther again in this movie.
Yeah, I know.
But we get no Jill. Sorry, we get no Claire.
I know, it's a sad
And we
world.
get no Kmart, but we get Luther, and we still don't get more of Max Headroom.
Well, just so you know, he's not in the next one.
Are you fucking serious?
No, he's in the next one.
Bro, I was gonna lose my goddamn mind.
I don't think it's any bigger of a capacity that he's had. I think it's the same size role, but I'm pretty sure he's in the next one.
He better be, dude.
The next one's just much random. The next one's by far the best one and the most movie of movies in this series.
Right.
But the way this one we just watched is just randomness all over the place. The next one has the same problem.
Well, I'm looking forward to it as long as he's a part of it. Because it feels like this movie was going for like the Zack Snyder post-credit scene Joker. I think that's what Wesker's turning out to be in the end with an apocalypse. Where he's gonna make it just, I'm really excited for it.
I want him in the Nemesis program.
It's a pretty strong opening.
Fuck.
It's marvelously impressive. There was at least 10 seconds. There was around at least 10 seconds of silence of just that silence before I hit record. The second I hit record, you go into a coughing fit.
It's meant to be, I guess.
Must be.
I think it's over. I think I've cured myself. The infection's gone.
That's nice, dude. That's really on point.
The antivirus worked, Alex.
The antivirus worked, Alice.
Did you say Alex or Alice?
Alice. I'm glad I started talking about this. I'm glad I started talking about the movie again, so you can cough your way through it.
You made me laugh. It's on you.
I didn't.
Everybody knows when I cough.
Everyone knows when I laugh, I cough. And whenever I try to say something, I say it backwards the first time before I have to correct myself.
Everybody knows that, but
Everyone
you.
knows whenever I say something, whenever Robbie says anything, I have to say it backwards first, realize it, stomp, and then turn around and go the other way.
Yes.
Robbie's very much a, do pass, go, but do not collect 200 kind of guy.
You made me laugh, but it's not coughing again. No, it's over. You can talk.
So this one has a new girl in it, and the last one, where that one also introduced a new girl, don't worry about her, okay? Forget about her. It's never about the girl. Don't think about the girl at all, okay? It's not about the deaf girl. Forget about her. However, what we do have to think about, of course, is Dr. Alexander Isaacs, because he's back. Jorah. Jorah's back, which is awesome. I always love to see that. Thankfully, for those who are not in the know, that was a joke. I hate Jorah.
It wasn't a joke on my end.
No, it would. No, okay. You don't need to. You've already confused everyone enough with your opinions thus far. You don't need to now make them think you're that much of a loser who actually likes Ian Glenn.
No, I don't. But I do like the religious frantic.
No.
version of him.
That's actually the dumbest
brings
part.
so much to the movie.
No.
It takes 6 movies to get that, but we needed that.
No. Okay, let's slow down a second. Okay, first of all, like I said, it's actually not cool that Dr. Alexander Isaacs was back for 2 reasons. One, because it's Jorah, and 2, because it's a stupid name. Okay.
Do you know why it's called that?
What?
Do you know why his name is that?
I don't know, because fucking W.S. Anderson decided to call him that.
No, because
He's from the game.
no, Jason Isaacs was just playing the character in the original
Right.
one.
So
He
it's a
couldn't
little
come
nod
back.
to Isaacs?
Yeah, 'cause
Wow.
they're friends.
That's really cool.
That is really cool.
You know
dude.
what's weird?
Dude,
You'd
it is really
you'd
cool.
think Jason Isaacs would have better friends.
No, he's Jason Isaacs.
Yeah, that's my point. He should probably be friends with someone a little bit more esteemed. Like, at least his son, Draco Malfoy, he got to be in the Planet of the Apes movie. What the hell has W.S. Anderson done?
He wrote and directed several of the Resident Evil movies, and he did Monsters and something else.
Yeah. How about we talk about this movie instead of going about other things? So does any of this part of the movie at all, up to this point, count as a flashback? I don't know, because it's kind of all just at the same time just being a retcon of everything that's happened in the previous 5 movies. So I don't know if you can really call it a flashback when you've now changed every fundamental principle of the movie. But hey, you know, at least the Red Queen now looks a little bit better. They've upgraded her. It's not the most egregious abomination of CGI put to film like in the first movie. Now it's like just kind of all right. That looks like the thing from Terminator Genesis. Okay.
Now I'm done.
Never mind, they got me. They are doing the recap because it goes immediately after the whole retconning thing. They go right into the whole, my name is Alice, blah, blah, blah. This is my story, blah, blah, blah. The end of my story, sure. We'll go with that. For now, up until next time, until, you know, you really want to put on a new fucking pottery studio to the house and WS is forced to make the next one.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the next one.
Also, doesn't the virus spread air and through blood? Like, it spreads by air and blood?
It evolves to whatever environment needs to.
Okay,
spread
well, it
through.
doesn't spread through water, thankfully, because Alice can just drink that nasty-ass water to open up the movie that's
Dude, I
most
didn't even
certainly
fucking
poisoned
think
still
of that.
water. It's probably not infected. Oh, wait, there's literally a waterlogged zombie in... No, it's fine. WS checked is actually fine. The water's fine. It hasn't gone bad.
Well, obviously, she's just immune to it because some people just aren't zombies for some reason.
Right.
So
That's true. That's a good point. Some people aren't zombies. Some people are just big zombies. Someone needs to tell the big zombie that just because you've suspended my disbelief enough to believe in zombies, never will you suspend that disbelief damn near close enough to make me believe in this stupid-ass, giant, specialty infected zombie that has a hammer and everything else walking around. It was dumb the first time. It's dumb this time. And these new like, you know, cool zombies you're trying to introduce all of a sudden, that they're also dumb, and they don't pass the stupid cool ratio test. They actually flunk it with a big F. And you know what's also not cool at all?
what?
It's certainly not cool when zombie fucking dragons appear and they can't chase a car. Huh.
Do you like how their wings were the umbrella shape?
No, that was stupid. That was dumb.
I never noticed that till this time.
How much billions of dollars went into that kind of, you know, ability of cross-breeding to have that happen?
Most of the budget.
Okay,
Actually.
maybe they should have focused more on the whole not turning everyone into zombies thing, unless I'm like, but think how cool their wings will look.
Dude, I don't even understand. Was like they never was that the goal of this virus? Was that the whole point to make everybody into zombies? And why is it some people become, like you said, the giant
I don't know.
not monster zombies, and other people are just not zombies?
You know, some people have, you know, some people are AB positive, some people are O negative, some are, you know, some are B positive. Like some are A positive. It's all over the place.
Yeah, but also, what the fuck are those? Are those supposed to be lizards that affected to the virus? Are they just some weird mutated thing that came out of
That
the,
was
the
AB
ether?
positive.
Yeah. Those are people.
Those are
Fuck,
people as
that's
well.
Nuts.
Yeah. And it's fine though, because even though it seems like, you know, this is a dragon, surely this dragon must be a big threat. In actuality, it's not at all. No, Alice just runs into the zombie fucking dragon with her car, and she wins.
Well, she's
Now,
Alice.
I had an ex-girlfriend who did the same kind of ordeal where she decided to drive full speed into a bird. And, you know, I thought that was both unlikely and hilarious. This, however, this is stupid and unlikely. There was a fine line there, the difference. Maybe if Alice started hysterically crying for killing the dragon, I would have laughed, because that's happened in real life. This is hilarious. This girl's crying. This bird's dead. This is a funny situation. This bird decided to kill himself against this car. Now, it was kind of funny here, but I think just because Alice brushed it off too fast as if it was a normal thing that happens, but I couldn't quite digest it.
It's Resident Evil. It's completely normal.
Maybe it was the fact that the CGI is horrible, you know? That could be it.
This movie looks the best, though.
That's up for debate.
No,
Is the zombie who attacks Alice talking to the new Red Queen, the one who, you know, can't hurt the company but can certainly help aid and abet someone who is hurting the company? That programming?
It's a contract loophole, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy that they're able to program this this complex AI, but they weren't able to put in a few backdoor, you know, firewalls. Like, I don't know.
That's a good point.
But the zombie who sneaks up right on her right then and there, she's talking, it's like a jump scare zombie. That zombie looked terrible.
Dude, I don't even remember. I remember the scene when she's in that room talking to her queen. I don't remember how that scene ended.
Well, they had to knock her out, remember?
No.
Remember this movie where there are like 8 different points in this movie where they said, okay, how do we get Alice? I don't know, we can knock her out.
the problem, there's
And then
too
she
many
kept
knockout
appearing
scenes, I can't
somewhere
keep
else.
track.
This entire franchise is bread and butter. They're like, what if she's in scene A, and sure, we're trying to get to scene B, but what if she just gets knocked down and she appears in scene B? It's like, that makes sense, yeah. That happens, yeah, no, that'll work.
Oh, wait. Is this when she then wakes up in the tank thing? With all the crosses around her? Or is that a different knockout scene?
It could be one of the same.
Yeah,
I have no
I don't
idea.
know. I don't know where we are.
I know. I will say the movie has a great camera, though. It's not the best movie.
It's the
and I
best
think the
movie.
CGI is the worst movie, but the camera's good. WS finally got it. He finally has it under control. It looks good. It's still kooky as hell, but it looks the best in quality.
Yeah.
That's something. And hey, it took 6 movies. He finally got there. It finally looks like a major motion picture to an extent.
No,
Again,
more
bad CGI, but most major motion pictures have bad CGI.
More for me, it's like 6 times a try.
Yeah. Then she fights those people at the with like the motorcycle and stuff. There's just like a bunch of guys hanging out upside down off a bridge, and she's getting. There's just a plain obvious umbrella motorcycle that's planted there for her to get it, and she takes the bait, and you think, okay, surely she'll have to pay. There'll be consequences for her being so lackadaisical. Not really. No, she wins. That's fine.
Alice.
She kind of just like ends up again somewhere randomly confused because again it's Alice. She has to be confused. She has to be somewhere confused. She has to get knocked out somewhere somehow. And the more the movie, what?
No, she's exhausted after every fight. She can't keep track of where she's getting from where to A to B. That's why we don't know.
They thought like, well, we could either spend a lot of this movie with characters speaking, which we always hate doing, and we could have them like where she's going on like long walks, talking and bonding with these people as characters as they walk from destination A to B. And they're like, well, we could also just knock her out and put her in location B.
Hey, since you said characters, this is the question we ask every episode of this review. Which crew? This crew?
We haven't even met the crew yet, Robbie. Why would you ask me that question yet?
You just said characters.
I said instead of having something with characters of her walk on the side, just have her appear places.
Sorry, I misheard you.
Who would have fucking thought? Robbie steps out of line.
That's my bread and butter.
But the more the movie goes on, I'm more and more certain that I'm kind of just watching Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Terminator.
It feels a lot like Terminator Salvation. Like all the backdrop feels like it, and like the way they're dressed feels like it. Here's a question: why does Jorah even want to make the world zombies? How is the company profitable then? For a guy who's such a company guy, I just don't understand these end of the world plan guys. I really don't, because I understand wanting to cause havoc, but like whenever I think about causing havoc, whenever I'm in my Professor Chaos. Is it Professor Chaos?
I think it's Professor Chaos.
Whenever I'm in my Professor Chaos kind of mindset, I'm always thinking about how can I cause havoc without specifically disrupting the supply chain. That's kind of always in my top parameters of things and my thoughts.
It should be.
It's like I would love world domination, but I don't want to fucking go back to the Stone Age. And for some reason, Jorah walking around in his $8,000 suits thinking like, wouldn't it be great if we were all zombies and we all had nothing? That's my plan. I want to be able to meet person. I want to be able to get some fresh Italian bread from the bakery every once in a while. I don't want to have to walk outside and see 7,000 zombies trying to face fuck me.
Well, no, the plan's to release the antivirus to kill all the zombies, and he's like, we're going to repopulate the world in our image. But it's like, it's
in your image?
You're a bunch of clones. So
a bunch of Jorahs?
Yeah,
How
exactly.
about no?
But also, you start from scratch. You have, like you just said, you have nothing.
Imagine the Christmas cards though of all the Jorahs.
To everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all like in like complete over the top. Martha Stewart like turtleneck apron, pulling out the Christmas cookies and smiling, and they're all around. But it's about Jorahs. Since they're all the same age, some of them have like draw sticks. Who plays the father? Who plays the mother? Who are the kids? So like
also, not every photo is the same. It's just very similar.
No, every single clone Jorah is put into a block of 4 people to make the nice standard nuclear family, but they all play the different roles of the familial types. So one of the Jorahs is like pigtails, like it's all also becomes very 1950s. So like it's pigtails, dress, cardigan, yeah. And it's a really beautiful thing. It's kind of like, you ever see Pleasantville? Now imagine all that nuance and character with just everyone was Jorah.
Dude, fucking, there needs to be the Resident Evil Christmas special.
Yeah, I know. That's what they're gonna plan.
How has that never happened?
And then everyone's like, does this finish the movie? Is this part of the movie's canon? And it's like, actually, yes. And the way you bookend it, like the Princess Bride, where you have it where Jorah is showing this, like, he spent like millions of dollars in this production to show us the test footage. Like, yeah, this is what could happen if we do this. This could be the world. And everyone's like, wait, so it's just you? And he's like, yeah, it's 10,000 me's, but we're all like, but look how happy we all look. It's like, it's just you, dude. But thankfully, who thankfully is in the goddamn scene to take away from Jorah and his god-given nothingness?
Alice?
Wesker, dude,
Wait,
my
Wesker
fucking
kicks
boy.
ass.
The best part of this entire fucking franchise, my baby boy, Wesker. No, that was actually a trick to get me invested. We apparently needed much more Alice versus Jorah on the conversation because suddenly Wesker's gone immediately again. He was there for a frame. I saw him.
He's a little tease in this movie.
Then he was gone. And it's back to, again, Alice versus Jorah, but this time they're on a tank. It's a terrible sequence until Alice cuts off his hand. And Jorah, Jorah had a totally human reaction to it. And she steals the motorcycle and she gets away. As Jorah, it doesn't even, you know, listen, guys, I've never gotten my hand cut off. Now, but I am pretty certain if I did, I'm pretty positive I'd pass out, fall off the tank, and die.
But not
Jorah, though.
Not until you went, oh! Then you would pass out.
Jorah ends up becoming one. Isn't there some movie where some, like, I don't know, it's either some movie or it's like some twisted, I guess, deranged, deep part of my brain. But isn't there some movie where some guy is like a murderer?
Yes.
And that, I think I've seen a movie like that. Isn't there a scene in some movie where a guy's a murderer and he's like cutting? Oh, it's the movie with Matchin and Mick where he's the guy's cutting off pieces of everyone. No, it's Sherilyn Fenn, the toy maker.
Oh yeah. Boxing Helena.
Yeah, sure. That's
Jennifer Lynch did that movie.
No, you said Boxing Helena. I was gonna say, oh yeah, Hotel Rwanda.
They're both up for the Oscar that year.
I guess Jorah is one of those guys. Isn't that guy like getting turned on by like the taking off the parts and everything? So maybe Jorah did climax there, and he found some new fantasy unlocked. He's like, oh my god, man, that's why he wants to make all the clones so he can constantly take off parts of his own body.
That one
That's
doesn't know there's
crazy.
clones.
Oh, you're right. So he's okay.
That
So this
one
one
is the clone.
Okay, you're right. It's just so confusing because he plays them such different ways.
That's my point. You made fun of it before, but it's genius, dude.
It's
It's
true.
like thespian Shakespearean stuff.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, using the word thespian or Shakespearean around fucking Ian Glenn Jorah, dude, he would fucking
Yeah,
blow
he's,
you.
oh!
Dude, you give him 2 fingers worth of scotch and tell him he's a thespian. Jorah's on his knees and your buckle's getting unbuckled faster than you thought possible. Now listen, it's not gonna be good head, but it's gonna be passionate head, okay?
Ian
He'll
Glenn
be
gives nothing
committed.
but passion.
It won't, and also, Jesus Christ, imagine his fucking scruffy ass beard. Jesus.
Do you like the way it feels, Khaleesi?
Oh, God. Honestly, I hope he's a verbal blower as well. Yeah, I'd like to hear that voice going on. Good thing Alice gets away, though, you know. It's immediately, again, 6 movies in, it all still means nothing. She just gets away instantly. But hey, look. Guess what, guys? Alice is unconscious again.
This is the 17th time.
No. Because this time, holy shit, it's actually different. Claire's here. Now they've changed, and now they've added to the formula. Now she's passing out, and Claire's here. She was with new people. Is it with anyone we've seen her with before? No. It's with some other guy that's apparently not Omar Epps. That's not Foreman from House. It's just some other guy. What the fuck? And someone's going to say that's racist of me to say because people can't just happen to look like. Because, yeah, me saying Minka Kelly and Lean to Meester look, that's just sexist of me to think they look similar, you know?
They are
Javier
friends.
Bardem and J.D. Morgan, that's racist, okay? Zoe Saldana and Fanny Newton, that's racist and sexist.
You bring up a lot of good points here.
Yeah, I guess I am an asshole. But I was convinced for about 5 seconds that was Foreman from House.
It is Foreman
and
from
I was
House.
fucking pumped. I was like, dude, this movie they actually cast someone who can act? That's crazy. You think, wow, this guy's a big fan of Foreman. Not really.
What do you mean? They also have Ruby Rose. Everybody can act in this movie.
Like I said, they're going to cast someone who can actually act for once instead of Ruby Rose and the guy from Teen Wolf.
Who's from?
You don't think
Wolf in this?
You don't think Styles' dad was a good actor?
I forgot all about him.
You don't think the guy who gives the GI Bill to go to South Harmon Institute of Technology was that good?
No, he was actually amazing in that movie.
Well, you like Mike Epps. In other news,
Hey, now we're
Adelar-
back at the crew. So, crew. Where's this crew
terrible,
stand?
god awful. They're all dog shit. But yeah, you know, whatever, fine. Razor doesn't look like Foreman from House. Sure, Jorah's a talented actor who escapes into his own characters and has range. In other news, Ali Larter looks fucking sexy in leather. Most sexy women do, I'll give them that. However, she has now found her sleeves. I thought it was kind of cool. You know, we've kind of seen her journey really change. She went from wearing an ox blood leather vest to now an ox blood leather jacket. So she's kind of moving on up to the east side. She's found something about her. She's found something inside. She's like, now I have sleeves. I'm unstoppable.
I like both versions equally in the same.
You do?
way. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. It's almost like I'm just, I don't know, infatuated with Ali Larter, perhaps.
Could be that.
Because you could have put quite possibly anything on her. I think I'd probably say that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not. You know what? I don't think I would have. If you let me go into your closet and pick something out for you, I don't think I ever would have walked out with that. But you look good. She's like, oh my god, that's such a sweet thing to say. And honestly, dumb lines like that must work because I can't imagine the doofus from She's Out of My League is really that suave of a guy no matter how much fucking oil he puts in his hair.
Actually, the more oil you put, the suaver you become.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't know if that adds up.
This is actually.
Actually, it does. Actually, and yes, and.
Fuck you.
Now it's a last stand at an unnamed location. Again, one of the many, many, many just cute, quirky things of this movie franchise. I have no idea. Listen, all right? You're never going to know anyone's name. You're never going to know where anybody is. And you're certainly not going to know what anyone's saying.
It's way more about the journey, dude.
Yeah, I guess. But now it's the last stand at an unnamed location, and Jorah is coming. You know? That's cool. And now it's like going to be like a big last stand, right? So everyone's really prepared for this. So what do you think happens immediately? One survivor shows up. What happens? Open the gates quickly!
Yeah, you kind of.
Alice, that could be. She could be with them. She's not.
She's probably with.
She's
them,
probably
Alice.
not. Open the gates.
She probably is, Alice.
Oh, she's dead. All right, guys, close the gates.
Yeah,
What a waste.
The likelihood of them winning that battle probably was greatly increased. They didn't open the gates right
That's
away.
what I'm saying. I think if they never opened the gate for one random ancillary character, and it wasn't even like it was Michelle Rodriguez.
That would have been awesome if she just came back for that.
Might as well just
Yeah,
have her be
really.
there. Oh my God, we have to save Michelle Rodriguez. No, it's just some random ass.
She's like, "Yo, it's Letty. Open the gate. Open the gate. It's Letty."
But you know, I guess, hey, if they didn't have some random ass woman walk up to the place trying to find shelter, then they never would have walked down to the basement or the bottom floor, and they never would have had that random montage of debris falling all over them.
The movie has to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So what would happen? Yeah, Claire and her boyfriend would have just been standing up top waiting for the fight to happen. No, they have to be down on the floor with fucking the building collapsing on top of them.
And it's cool that he has the staple gun and all, but like maybe get a gun.
Maybe get a real gun. That's probably helpful. And maybe don't let Alice, who literally just showed up here, dictate the plan about everything.
Yeah, I
Because,
feel like
again, was your plan to blow up the entire base?
Did they say that? I don't remember them saying that when they were talking about
I don't know.
it.
She was there for 5 seconds, and she said, "Guys, I have this really great idea. This base you have here, let's demolish it. No. We'll blow it up. You know, I'll zip line kick a couple zombies." Wow, that's interesting. Because it seemed like when you got here, it seemed like they were here sheltered up for a little while. They called this place home. And your idea was, all right, well, Jorah's coming here with like 3 tanks, so we might as well blow up the whole place.
How does he know where you are?
Tracking,
Yeah, that was
probably.
in the 3rd movie. This is the 6th movie. He can't track her anymore. Fuck
Oh
that.
yeah, there was no. Yeah, right. She didn't look up at a satellite once this
Exactly.
movie.
Dude, fuck that shit. He just fucking found her.
I don't know. Maybe they came up with maybe the virus mutated to track her.
It does evolve. That's a good point.
It's always evolving since it's such a good virus. And then thank God the whole 10 trillion billion million zombies left for the fight for a moment, so Alice versus mixed martial arts guy could fight. And that guy, he was fast, he could move, but too bad he wasn't smart and never saw Indiana Jones before the outbreak. Because he just got indied. She straight up just said, I'm just gonna shoot him, and he died. Not the way I saw that fight going. I thought it was gonna turn into some big, like, full-out spectacle, at least one Matrix, slow motion kick shot. Instead, they're like, what if we do the thing from Indiana Jones because it's cheaper? I mean, we have to animate all those zombies. And then everyone said, but Wes, the zombies aren't even in this scene. Inexplicably, they disappeared.
They're hanging out chilling.
And he's like, yeah, but, film does it's digital, Wes. Listen, guys, okay, I don't want to pay a stunt choreographer to actually make a real fight scene.
He is the stunt choreographer.
Listen, okay, guys, it's my movie, okay? This is my magnum opus, okay? It's my final chapter, guys. I'm going to sail off into the sunset after this. Let me have this. And I said, okay, fine, Wes.
It really is the magnum opus of the whole thing.
Yeah, it really is. Then it's a rock climbing part of the movie. That was fun. That was innovative. That
remember
was
the rock
very
climbing
Mission
part.
Impossible 2 of the movie. Speaking of Thandie Newton.
Oh yeah, when everyone's going down normal and Alice is
we're all,
sprinting down the fucking
Where the
mountainside.
entire group all repels down the right way, and then Alice, like you said, she's the main character.
Alice.
She's Alice, so she runs facing down right into the ground. Does she get any repercussions? No, of course no, because it's Alice. So this is just supposed to be badass and cool, not stupid and lame.
I'm fine with Alice doing it because she's Alice, but like Claire is most certainly doing it alongside Alice.
No, Claire is definitely right. There's the scene. Maybe this was a deleted scene. I didn't watch the commentary. I haven't really embraced the film yet. Maybe there was like an alternate version of the scene where she's like, "That's that fucking cunt." And then once Alice gets past her, she like quickly spins around her shackle and she starts chasing her down the same way. And she lingers for like that bitch one-upping me. And that's the part where she's like, I'll lose my pants the rest of the movie. And it's like, oh, this is a great idea.
Yeah. You know what's bullshit though? Alice is married to the guy who wrote and directed it.
I'm aware
That's
of
why
that.
it's deleted. That's what I'm saying.
What?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Then random guy that they literally just told to go get some gear, right? The random guy they found and said, hey, stock up, man. Lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels. Yeah, Harry Dean Stanton, he's dead now. So I guess he grabbed the wrong gear.
I really thought that was
because
Harry
he died
Dean Stanton.
immediately.
In my mind, every time I think of this movie, it is Harry Dean Stanton.
It might be. One way or another, the world's going to end, 50 years, right? Famine, war. It's fact, not conjecture. One way or another, our world. It's coming to an end and whatnot. The question is,
You have to
will we
expedite
end
it?
with it on our terms? An orchestrated apocalypse. That's fucking stupid. Surprise, surprise. Your big monologue here, the whole motivation of everything, the thing you've now made is the central point of all of this, why the Umbrella Corporation does Umbrella. Hold on a second. So you think... Let me get... This is what should happen if I was in the stock room, or the stock room, the shareholders meeting.
Yeah. The conference room.
Yeah. I'm like, so, Jorah, you're telling me
It's
that you
Dr.
think...
Isaac.
It's like, it's... No, it's not. Okay, we all know you're not actually... We don't even know why you started calling yourself the doctor. You have no medical degree whatsoever. Okay, you've worked your way up on this company somehow. Okay, but you're not a doctor. It's just dumb. It's dumb because why not, I don't know, if you think the world's definitely going to end in 50 years, why not party for those 5 decades, I don't know. Realistically, Jorah probably won't last 50 more years, especially with, this non-start partying he could get right into. So why not go out the right way instead of ending the world, because you can do it on your own terms? And it's also dumb, too, to assume that innovation will, of course, never come to be. No, guys, trust me, we've peaked. This is as good as it gets. We haven't figured out how to solve it now. We'll never figure it out ever. And listen, guys, I'm the smartest guy in the world. I'm Dr. Isaacs. I'm a fucking genius, and I can't solve it. So obviously, this is the only solution. The one where everyone looks like me. And don't the best things always come when you're between a rock and a hard place, like the back to the wall innovations, right?
Yeah,
you know how we
usually.
solved like the polio stuff? People got polio. We solved measles? People got measles.
Yeah.
And you know why someone had to solve it? Because I don't think, I think if no one had measles, that no one would have been frantically scrambling to solve measles.
That's why they released the virus, so they could solve the problem.
Okay, but the problem was that the world's gonna end in 50 years, which again seems a bit short-sighted to say 50.
And they already had the
I
antivirus,
guess that
too.
say the sun will burn out in 6 billion years. Like, that's cool. That's good to know. I just keep that in the back of my head in my day-to-day decision-making.
Fuck it up now.
Yeah.
Let's not wait.
Guys, you know the sun won't last forever. Do you really want to wait for our great grandchildren to die because of what we didn't do today? It's like, I don't know, they could at least live, maybe. That's something I think. Maybe I'm selfish. I think the last generation of the world shouldn't get to live. Maybe I'm crazy. Sure, it might end in a fiery ball of nothing, but hey!
And what about all those guys in between, dude?
Fuck them.
Really, I know it's sad to say it's the future's problem. Like, dude, fuck the future. What about us from now till then?
No. WS thought, he tried, I guess he realized that was a dumb premise, which was when he tried, incorporating and tying in the whole Bible thing. The Holy Bible, the Ark, and this whole religious subplot. But unfortunately for him, it's fucking stupid and it's fucking cheap.
Yeah, and also really loose.
And stupid and cheap.
Makes sense.
Yeah. We're jumping ahead. Do you think the religious aspect ever came into play ever again?
I mean, it's the last movie.
Okay, true. That's true. They always say the Holy Six, so that's good too. There's 6 of these movies that tell his, his epic, his religious epic. He's been, guys, from the beginning, it was all about God and the fight of man and religion.
Well, when you've seen these movies as many times as I have, it really does come down to that.
Yeah, I believe that if you watch these movies enough, you probably just lose all idea of self, and you really start to worship in some fanatical way. Maybe that was the idea. Maybe WS is just trying to spin this all off as some weird, keep going a couple Comic-Cons, finding the real die-hard loyal fans, and he makes some sort of weird commune in Wisconsin.
That's the dream.
That's the dream for every man alive, man. Every warm-blooded man. 37 minutes. I'm sorry. 37 minutes. Then you have 72. How much time were you knocked out for? You had 48 hours to start this movie. You have 37 minutes. Stop talking to the Red fucking Queen and go stop the thing. Fuck your earpiece. One last thing. She's like, guys, yeah, sure, you only have 30 minutes, but I have to tell you one more thing, Alice. This is just information for you. This is a secret, Alice.
No, it's important only Alice had that information, but more importantly, like you said before, how's there no backdoor coding to not let her do these things?
No.
How is it Wesker, who's just jerking off this whole time, doesn't hear her saying
Because Wesker's an edgelord, and Wesker is in some trance right now. Wesker's going on, it's been 48 hours, right? Alice had 48 hours and it's coming down to the wire. There's 37 minutes left, okay? She wasted 47 and a half hours. Wesker,
Wait, she was blowing up that
for
fucking
47
building.
and a half hours, has been just literally every like 5 minute on the minute. He has a timer going. He just touches his penis with his hand. Doesn't stroke, just touches it because it's that
And it
erect.
cracks his neck.
And he's just spazzing. He's like, not. He's slowly breathing. It's just all concentration. He's totally tantric. Okay, it's been 48 hours. He's waiting to climax when he has the okay from Dr. Isaacs. When the plan's complete, he wants to climax to start off the new world. He wants it to be a purging of the old world. He wants to have venom, that toxic venom, out of him. Okay.
How is she maintaining a physique like that?
Dude, guy's fucking shredded, okay? I love Wesker, okay? Everything else, every bit of praise I've given these movies is a joke except for that, okay? I love Wesker.
Dude, the Wesker kicks ass, and he totally gets that this is a fucking video game character. He's
Some actors get it,
amazing.
okay? Balthazar Getty gets Twin Peaks, Wesker gets Resident Evil. And oh my god, an informant, someone in the group is bad. I wonder who. Huh, why wouldn't that informant just kill everyone? Why would they help this far along? I have no idea. It makes no sense. I guess this person is also programmed the same way she is, where she can't go against the company, but she can certainly help and abate against it.
Well, he must be a clone too, obviously, then, if he's for the company.
He's not.
You're right.
No, clones don't have accents like that.
Such a good point. Only
Spoiler
Isaac
alert, we
does.
now know who was the clone, because Robbie had a spoiler, didn't say him.
Oh shit! Sorry. So no. There's like 3 guys in that group. You said the
Yeah.
accent part. It could have been Foreman I was talking about.
He's already dead, dude.
Oh, he's in this
He's gonna
scene.
die in a second anyway. They know it's not him.
Is he in this scene? I don't remember.
Yeah, because now it's the cool guys, big fan scene. Big fan. Someone's gonna get cut in half. Let's see who gets cut in half. I'm ready. All right. They all got out of that really fast. I would have liked.
I don't even remember. Was it Ruby Rose?
Kind of. No, they first get out of it and they think the scene's over. And, I would have liked to have kept Ruby Rose around a little longer to look cute and shit. But someone's gotta get turned in half by the giant fan. For at least some, you cannot have a fantasy not cut someone in half.
Why couldn't she have been the agent, double agent, or whatever? Kill that stupid guy with the stupid accent.
No, because they're like, that guy's so cool, strong, and tough. There's no way he would ever get stuck in a situation. Even though Ruby Rose is like, isn't her entire career being the tough, cool chick?
Hey, you see how she gave the middle finger to the camera, dude? That was just
Yeah, I don't know why they're like, all right, this girl's tough and cool, and she's wearing like, she's dressed like she's dressed like one of the cool girls in the Alien franchise who is like she's like the laid back pilot chick who's kind of tough.
Yeah.
She had that look to her. And it's like, okay, this girl could be
Yo,
cool.
why wasn't she an Alien Romulus?
Because they had a cast not Millie Bobby Brown. So she's stuck, all right, and it's coming, but now Alice is there, and it's actually just all a futile gesture because they both get out of there. I'll go fuck myself, but then after they get out of the same scene, this is the same spot, right? What's this? What do they call it in a movie when it's the same the big action set piece? Okay,
Yeah.
they use the big action set
big
piece.
action set
They call
piece.
yeah, I know that place. That's the house on Sherman. The big action set piece, they use it 3 times in a row. First they get out of it, then it starts again, then they get out of it a second time, then they go back in there for the 3rd time, and then when the 3rd time it happens, now it's going backwards. So of course, it's sucking the air out. The absolute fuck it is, but fine, it's sucking the air out. Even though this is a giant room with one fan, and like it doesn't look like it's a vacuum. It looks like an area.
It's a big ass hallway. Did you notice? It's like all those giant like airplane hangar vents.
Yeah, but apparently it's that one fan's really strong, and Ruby is flying. Nope, Alice caught her. Fuck, never mind. Kill someone in this movie, please.
So you said Alien before. Doesn't that happen in Alien 2? Is it
Probably.
really holding
Everything in this movie's
the
been
girl
completely
and
stolen,
the
yeah.
fan or whatever?
Then she looks to the side and she realizes a person's watching them. So like, we can't stop the trials and tribulations until there's a sacrifice. And of course, the person's obviously Wesker. Who the fuck else would it be? And I don't know why Alice said someone was watching, but Wesker was waiting for one to die. That's stupid that she put that together. She's like, I get that she gets. I know there's a camera there, but maybe he's just waiting for you all to die. Maybe he decided it's enough. I don't know. She's like, no, there has to be one of us. And then Ruby Rose decides, fine, I might as well die. It's pretty stupid. How shocked she looks to die, considering how bad she's been this entire exchange up to this point. She's been a complete fumbling buffoon. But when she finally, when that backpack snaps or whatever, and Alice can't hold her anymore, she's fucking shocked. It's like the whole Alan Rickman dropping off the building. Drop him on 2.
Exactly what that was.
Yeah, she's barely surviving. And then it's such a criminal sin that they did this entire exchange and they killed off Ruby Rose and didn't let her be hotter, that we get an actual cinema sins ding in the movie.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? This movie's actively cinnamon sinning itself? Then look, Fingers, he died. That's cool.
Fingers. Whose fingers?
Fingers, dude.
Whose fingers?
The guy who didn't even try to stop it either. He just let it get chopped off and fall to his death. He was holding on by his hand, and he got his fingers cut off and just said, all right.
Oh, yeah, dude. What is wrong with that guy? Is he
I
trying
don't
to
know.
climb? He's just like, I guess I'm
I guess
getting
I'm
my
gonna
fingers cut
die.
off.
I guess Wesker meant 2 people have to die.
Honestly, that whole sequence is like, I never realized how much these movies are just literally video games going from point A to point B
Yeah.
until this watch through.
Well, think about video games again. You know, video games always have that loading screen. Alice gets knocked out. It's a loading screen.
Yeah. The map needed the fucking, whatever it's called,
Yeah, the map
generator.
exactly need to spawn the next room.
My point is, though, with that, I always forget half this part, because this is the most egregious example of it. It's like, now we're in a room with this giant fucking weird zombie, and that guy, who is this guy getting his fingers cut off in the first
I don't know.
place?
Fingers. You don't know fingers?
And also, he falls into the set from Harry Potter and the fucking
Yeah,
stupid
you don't know
water
fingers,
scene.
dude?
Yeah, no, I know fingers. It's fingers. Of course I
Yeah,
know
man.
fingers.
I don't know any fingers. Dice. Snakes. I don't know snakes. But no, now we're all dropping like flies here. Razor, he just got swiped too, if you didn't see. He's dead also. Then Jorah drives his tank into the fucking pit. It's just like, wow, I didn't think any zombies would be down here. He's shocked by the whole thing. And apparently, we're back with Alice and Claire's boyfriend. And you know, apparently this bag of MP5s and explosives is just still down here all these years later. That's good to know. It's been 27 years since the outbreak started, and that bag is right where you left it, sweetheart.
That's convenient.
And I guess he meant it like literally clones that would all, because then we get that scene where it shows everyone's, so like they're really telling us guys, no, there's a billion Jorahs.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is, that's the whole message. Like, this really is an apocalypse.
There's a billion clones of Jorah.
No, I think eventually it becomes like multiplicity. We're making clones of clones of clones of clones. So
Yeah,
there's some
there's
watered
one
down
Jorah's
Jorahs. There's only one Jorah. There's only one. That's what the next one should be, just Highlander. Yeah,
Yeah,
it should be all of them going. There can only be one Jorah, just Jorah fighting Jorah.
How do we get the Jorah spin-off?
I don't know. Maybe eventually. That's what he's been cooking up in the lab. And I guess the original Jorah is awakened, and Alarder is in a fucking cage for like the second time in this franchise.
I'm pretty good with that storyline, actually.
And she's now blown up the glass that she's in. That's risky.
Yeah, she MacGyvered it.
She just decided, you know what? I'm in a 2x2 room. How big could this explosion possibly be? Well, enough to break the pressured glass, but not enough to hurt you, doll.
No, dude, she pressed the sole of her boot against
That's
it.
true. Yeah, WS really does get it. And it turns out, W.S. Anderson, the guy with the accent,
Oh, dear God.
you know that was him,
Alice.
right?
Yeah.
You know that was him in the movie? He was the guy playing Alar's boyfriend.
No, I didn't realize that.
That was W.S. Anderson. He finally got to be in the movies.
That's nuts, dude. He looks good in the movie. Got a good beard.
It turns out he was the plant, you know. I wonder why he didn't let them all die back at the fan again. He was really helping them back then.
Yeah.
Razor and Fingers weren't doing that much of work. He was like, we can't lose Ruby Rose. She's so hot.
That's a good point. Why'd the fans shut off? Just kill them all now.
I don't know. Then Wesker, he's back. He's back again. He's finally going to be in the movie. And it's like, sure, there's only 10 minutes left of this movie, but he's here for the last 10 minutes.
Hey, it sounds like that's the most important part.
But Wesker, seriously, drop the gun away from my baby girl's head and do not ever point it at Alarder ever again. Okay, that was a little much. You can be the bad guy, she can be the good guy. You can be like, hey, bitch, I'm gonna kill you. Don't point the gun at her pretty face, okay?
Yeah,
Don't damage the goods, okay? You can be mean to her. You can put her in a fucking glass box for the 30th time, but don't point a gun at her. And now Alice is now she's God.
Hasn't she always been?
No. Now she's God.
Oh,
Yeah.
now she is.
Now she can see every outcome to everything ever. And get this, Jorah is also God, and I guess his God's better than her God because he can see her outcomes simultaneously as well, but he can beat her in all these. He's actually better. He just sees things better than she does.
But like, he's got some program bullshit, so he's seeing all that instantaneously.
Right.
Isn't she like actively thinking about each outcome? So like, so she's just standing there, and he's just like, Alice, are you going to move yet?
I think this entire movie is actually Wesker still just edging. He's just coming out. This is what he's thinking about how it's going to go down. It's actually him coming up with those
Remember
different
the Christmas
options.
special where it's
Yeah.
just him telling everybody at the meeting?
Yeah.
Wesker's edging the entire time during the meeting
Wesker's
in the
just an
back of the room.
edgy kind of guy.
Does he have to be here? He's my edgelord.
That's true.
Everyone knows I give presentations of my edgelord.
But then we find out that this isn't even the original Alice. And no, the original Alice is just some fucking ugly, stupid bitch. Alice, that's the OG one. Some ugly, old fucking hag bitch. That's awesome, guys. Oh, and she has an aging disease and she looks like complete shit. Even better, man. And Jorah calls this one Alicia. Dude, that's awesome. I'm really glad we were following Alice around this entire time thinking this is
it's Alicia.
even worse. Even dumber. And wow, Alice was the Red Queen the whole time. That's fucking crazy, guys. And then Jorah hits her with the whole, you have no memory because you have no life, you loser bitch. And I go, okay, great, Jorah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And she also, again, she's been lying this entire time in the company, but, you know, if there's one thing she's not, you can't say she isn't, you know, very quick to understand, because she immediately takes on this new information and is like, wow, I guess I am the Red Queen. I'm surprised he didn't say, Alice, you work for the company. She's like, oh my god, I do work for the company. You're right. She just starts killing everyone.
Did they say it in the first one?
Yeah, probably. She kind of just goes with whichever way the wind's kind of blowing.
You forgot to mention the best part, though.
What?
The nicknames.
The nicknames?
Holy Trinity of bitches.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's disgusting.
Because it's Alicia, Alice. He's like the woman you were, the woman you could have been. He says some other fucking monologue.
You know why? I think I was spiraling. I think this is the part of the movie where I was starting to break down emotionally. Because
that happens at this point.
No, my heart broke into a million pieces because that's when it just it was just no. Albert Wesker, no! You fired him, no! You shredded his perfect ankles, no! You goddamn old bitch! He's like, you can't hurt the company. No! Fire Isaacs, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, what the fuck? Just fire him. Problem solved.
He has more shares. Wesker doesn't have any stock options. Come on!
He's clearly a company man.
That was bullshit, man. I was never so angry.
But dude, like, I'm sorry, his ankle gets cut off and he bleeds. That was a soap in fucking Modern Warfare 3.
Honestly, yeah.
Dude, in fucking the fourth one or fifth one,
No!
they threw goddamn knives in his head. He just pulls out and goes, I can't die.
Apparently his ankles are his Achilles. Even Achilles had his heel. Lewis Harrison must have thought he was a fucking genius for that one.
Guy's a fucking philosophizer.
Also, I would have been more annoyed about this if they didn't just kill Wesker. I have a lot more fiery rage for this part. But Alice then, you know, I don't believe that she never ever dumped those bullets. That never happened. This movie isn't just retconning the previous 5 to make this movie work. They're also retconning the 6th movie itself while it's playing.
It's not retcon. You just didn't see it happen. She's that fast.
No. Because she didn't empty the mag. And if she did, I'm pretty sure the informant guy who was probably on edge thinking about how he's going up against her, he would have been like, what was that clanking of 39 millimeters hitting the ground before you handed me this gun? That's weird. And
also,
Alice, nothing. No, that must have been fucking, you know, maybe she was just whistling while doing it the whole time.
You didn't hear that part?
I didn't.
Also,
and also this guy, super special secret agent man, right? Doesn't notice that his gun is very light, missing 30. And also, let's pretend that he... let's pretend he doesn't, right? The whole plan is stupid. What if he went to use the gun earlier? It didn't shoot. What if they ran into a zombie in this zombie apocalypse? And he's like, oh shit, Alice, get down. Goes to shoot. Doesn't go, immediately realizes his compromise. He's like, she doesn't trust me, she took the bullets away. And, I don't know, fucking realizes he's been burnt, right? He's burn noticed. And he goes beats the shit out of you and kills you right then and there.
What? Do the fucking opening. I'm Mike. And
I'm Michael Weston, yeah. 8 years ago, I was burnt.
Dude, why wasn't just Michael Weston playing
The fact that that guy genuinely isn't in these movies is fucking outrageous.
It is outrageous. That's nuts, dude. There has to be a 7th one just for that alone.
And her logic is, you know, he says, how'd you know I was the bad guy? And she says, you survived? That means he's bad? Ali Lauder survived too. You want to shoot her as well? Why don't you fuck her over?
Well, her brother apparently died, I guess, so she can
I guess? Yeah, where is Wentworth Miller? We'll never know. What if you,
This series needs spin-offs. Everyone needs their own
I know,
spin-off
everyone needs their own
movie
movie to come back to.
We need Resident Evil Origins,
cinematic
Chris
universe.
Redfield.
Yeah. But with her logic being so flawed, what if her, you know, Make-A-Wish project, Ruby Rose, made it all the way in when she screwed her over at the very end, too? I mean, like, you dumb bitch, you survived. I knew you were the informant. I'm not the informant. You just shot her.
Your dad owned a auto shop. I don't buy it. You're the informant. Also, what if that guy decided, he's like, you know what, Claire's really just a gorgeous woman. Maybe I don't want to betray her, but I'm going to help Alice.
Dude, that would have helped. Well, unfortunately, Claire did kill him, so maybe he was coming to that, you know, realization. But I would have thought about it probably when she did the whole whipped cream undies thing to me.
Yeah, right there.
I would have been
no
like,
question.
whoa, dude, fuck the Umbrella Corporation, dude. I make $44,000, and they're telling me to turn it on this.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't worth $40,000. They don't even cover my health insurance. They only pay half.
Dude, they don't even. Not only is it not dental, it's no vision either.
Yeah,
I
what the
can't even
hell?
get glasses with these people.
And I can't read for shit.
Now it's Claire and Alice versus Jorah. Never mind, I lied. Claire got knocked out in the first immediate. She just knocked out instantaneously. Okay. And then she got up for a second. That was a distraction. Got knocked out the exact same way again in the same part of the room. Fell right back down to the ground just so Alice could get a breather in there for a second. Then the third, I repeat, third asinine laser scene in this franchise. I think all in the same room. That's hard to pull off. That might be the only franchise to ever do that. 3 laser scenes in one franchise in one room.
Yeah. It's the best in this one by far.
And once again, Alice gets her clothes just singed.
Yep.
Just enough to have some stupid, not necessary shot of something falling to the ground slowly.
Fingers. She loses her fingers too.
Well, it's all the new rave these days. And it can't get goofier. It can get goofier. I lied because Jorah just matched her punch in the middle with his own punch, and he broke her fucking hand. It did, in fact, get goofier. And here's a question. Since when was this entire room made of glass? Because they just shoot the walls immediately in the laser room. It seems like this was very easy to escape all these times. Why didn't those commandos in the first one say, hey, these are mirrors. Maybe we can shoot these mirrors on the wall.
They didn't get that kind of intel.
You're right. Big commando guy was too tough. Like, oh, I'm going to punch this laser. I'm going to get my fighting stance. And I'm going to jump in the air and get cut because the laser juked me.
He was like, dude, 12 years of Krav Maga finally
Yeah.
came into effect.
That guy did seem like a Krav Maga kind of guy. Then Jorah. That's right, fucking Jorah cut her fucking fingers off. Never mind.
This is
That
for
was-
my clone.
No, it actually, I thought he was going to get the last laugh, right? Alice doesn't have any fingers anymore. Turns out she put the smallest little grenade, just the tiniest little, teeniest little, small little grenade ever, in his suit pocket. So small that it couldn't even destroy the antidote 5 inches away in his other pocket. But, however, it was enough to explode him, surely enough to knock him off his ass.
No, she did one of those classic, I took this out of your pocket
No,
with
she
the
didn't.
same hand. And
That's not
she has an
true.
antidote afterwards.
No, she doesn't.
How else do you think she releases it?
Dude, it explodes here and she takes it off of his body.
So his entire rib cage comes out.
Yeah!
No, you're lying.
Dude,
She definitely
you're
does a sleight of
mistaken.
hand.
Oh, and Claire's alive? Yeah, I didn't know since she didn't help at all, but apparently she's alive again. She's back. She's woken up again.
Who cares? All that matters is she's alive and she's wild.
No, you know what matters? Hey, wow, look at that, 2 Jorahs. That's
That's
sick.
pretty sick.
And one is just, one's even dumber. And he decided to kill the OG, the whole, I'm me. He's not me, I'm me. Well, you're both dead, genius, so congratulations. And so is old Alice. And then it cuts back and, no! Wesker, no! Because he's actually dying. And then Alice drops the fucking vial, and immediately every zombie thousands of miles away falls. And then after that happens, Alice, she then falls, the one who was closest to the cure in proximity. And wow, she died. She sacrificed herself to save the world. Wow, yes. No, wait, no, she's alive because no, Alice
Thank
only
God.
had to think she was going to die. It had to be some organic sacrifice. Shut the fuck up, okay?
It's the hero's journey,
No,
Alex. Who
no,
the
no.
fuck are you
What
to
a
judge
shitty,
this movie?
shitty, dumb fucking payoff. What a dumb, fucking super fucking dumb everything about this movie. Oh my god, here's my memories. I downloaded them for you. What?
I got choked up. You're a
Wow,
monster.
what a great wrap up while Claire sits there completely silently like she did for the entire movie saying nothing. In a movie where no one talks, Claire said even less. And who fucking cares if Alice has her memories? Who fucking cares?
Yeah, we
okay?
got through 5 movies without
What even?
them.
No, what? Exactly. That's my fucking point. She didn't have it for 5.5 fucking movies, and she was more than capable of having a relationship, surviving this place, relationship building amongst her peers. She was doing fine. She's well adjusted. It means dick. And also, it could take years to reach every corner of the world. Then yeah, I don't know. It seemed to work pretty fast when you toss that one grenade on the ground. I think it's everyone thousands of miles away. So I think by next week it should be good.
There should be a mini series of just her, like, supernatural monster of the week style, and Claire's with her, and they just fight Jorahs and monsters.
Jorahs and Monsters should be the name of the subtitle.
Resident Evil.
Jorahs and Monsters. That'd be a good movie.
No, mini series.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Has to be at least a season long.
because each episode would feel like its own feature-length movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's more about the destinations than it is the actual
Right.
story.
I didn't wrestle all of them, though. I didn't wrestle more than you do one.
Yeah, Alexander Witt did the second and Russell did the third, but I've directed all of the others. I've produced all of them, and I've written all of them. And in terms of, this being the final chapter as well, there are certain secrets that I had when I wrote the first movie. The truth about the Alice character, the truth about the Red Queen, the real agenda of the Umbrella Corporation. These are all things that I was aware of when I did the first movie, and I didn't tell anyone those secrets, even Mila. And so it was kind of like this movie was very exciting for me to make because I finally got to kind of like let the truth out.